So if you have the chance to talk to any kind of successful location-independent entrepreneur or digital nomad, you can bet that we've all had this conversation dozens of times. So one that goes kind of like this. So why are you in Barcelona? Well, beaches and I like Spanish food and I thought maybe I wanted to learn Spanish. Yeah, but why are you here? Beaches and I like Spanish food and I wanted to learn Spanish. No, but why are you here? Oh, like job and stuff. Yeah. Are you an English teacher? What are you doing here? Oh, no. It's not like that. And then you go on to explain your life. And we've all had this dozens of times. And I've always wanted to make a video where I explain this to people. So I kind of have something to point people to and say, hey, here's how this life is possible. And in this video, I also want to actually kind of teach and break down how it could be possible for them because most of the time when you explain to someone that you have this life where you can live wherever you want, you earn money regardless of the local economy where you are, and you have pretty much total freedom in terms of where you live and when you work, they're interested in how they could do that as well. And I've wanted to make this video right now, for years where I break down the best way to do it and how it can be done. Now, if you're wondering who am I to talk about this stuff, well, I've been location independent for over 4 years now. I started off leaving my hometown of Vancouver, Canada in 2012, and I was working as a freelance copywriter and was broke. I'm not going to use some curse words to tell you how broke I was, but I was as broke as you can get. And I made this decision to kind of follow through regardless on my dream of living around the world and managed to not only make it work, but really increase my business and turn things around to the point where I had a really nice, profitable freelancing business where I was able to go from Costa Rica to New York, where I was able to surprise my brother with a flight to visit me. And I was able to do all this while working as a freelancer on my own hours with the freedom to live where I wanted. And since then, I've grown my business to include writing my own books, teaching online courses, as well as doing coaching. So I have a fair share of experience, not only through my own life, but also working one-on-one with other people as they went through this journey of becoming a freelancer and then designing their own life around that. Now, I hope you don't mind me talking about myself a bit. I've been told I have to put that in these videos because people want to know, who is this guy? Why should I listen to him? So now that we have that out of the way, I want to go back to our original premise, which is that conversation that comes up time and time again, where I'll run into someone who says, I want your life. How can I have that kind of freedom and work for myself? And I want to go through kind of what I would tell them, what I do tell them in that conversation. So the first thing I would say, and I want to say about working for yourself, is don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be this crazy complicated thing. Now, I think the best way to get started in terms of working for yourself and having the freedom to set your own schedule is freelancing, consulting, or coaching. There's a bunch of reasons why I think this is by far the best way to get started. I'll go through that later on in the video, but for now, just roll with me here. So within this area, you don't need to overcomplicate things. A lot of people, myself included, especially myself, we have an instinct of making things more complicated than they need to be. Ultimately, what a good freelancer does is they provide value. Now, for the rest of the video, I'm going to use the term freelancer, but know that I include consulting and coaching within that category of freelancing here, okay? Now, what a good freelancer does is they provide value. They find a way to give other people value with their service, and that's it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Now, once you figure out how to provide value, and we'll talk more about what that is, what is value and how can you provide that. Once you figure out how you can provide it, then the next step is figuring out how you can provide it in the best way. So you start out providing value and maybe you're earning $25, $35, $50 an hour. And then you can progress with that and find out, okay, wait, how can I give more value and more value? And that's basic business, is you give someone value and they pay you for that. And sometimes this is hard to wrap our heads around because it's not really how it works in the employee sense. I mean, every relationship, I believe, is an exchange of value. But in an employee-employer sense, it's not as obvious, it's not as direct, and it's often not as fair. You could provide your employer with tons and tons of value, and that doesn't mean they'll necessarily give it back to you. But as a freelancer, you have a lot more equality there in terms of the value you give and the reward you receive back. So the first question to ask yourself is, what is something that you do or can learn to do better than most people? That's your starting point. When you have something that you can do better than most people, and I don't mean the best in the world to start out with, or even the best in your city, but I mean better than most people. Once you have that, you have the starting blocks for providing value to people. So let me give you an example that I use with my clients sometimes to really help convey this and help build your starting confidence. So when you're just getting started, it can be really hard to believe in your work or feel confident in why someone would pay you for something. Now, this can especially be true in the more artistic freelancing professions like writing or design. I started out as a writer myself, and it's weird to think, wait, someone's going to pay me $100 an hour to just write for them? Like, doesn't everybody know how to write? Actually, I was a terrible speller in school. So from a traditional point of view, I'm probably actually a bad writer. So how is it that someone's willing to pay me for that work? Well, look at it this way. We all have a certain set of skills and strengths. Now, our strengths are more built in, whether it's from childhood or genetics or whatever else. They're kind of what we have to work with. And our skills are things that we develop through training and time. And let's say that writing is a combination of a strength for you and maybe a skill. And as a skill, you're in the early stages of developing it, and there's always more to learn. And as a strength, it's something you've always done well. Now, consider a potential client. Say you have I'm going to make it really boring. Say you have a dental office who needs to have their marketing done. They want to run a big promotion, put a lot of money into advertising, web stuff, all that. Now, you might be thinking, wait, why would they pay me $50 an hour for writing? I didn't earn that at my last job. I don't know if I'm worth that. Why would I be worth that? Well, let's turn it and look on the other side. You have this dentist here who earns $150 an hour and is a terrible writer. And there's no one on staff who has any kind of writing ability who could pull it off, right? Who could do this work for him. So you have this dentist there whose time is valued at $150 an hour. And if he was to do his own writing, it would probably be bad and take him longer than it would take you and be costing him $150 an hour of time that he could otherwise be working with patients. So if you come in and you say, hey, I'm going to charge $50 an hour and I'm a good writer, you're delivering huge value there. You're, number one, saving him $100 an hour in terms of that trade-off of his hours versus your hours. Number two is you're probably delivering, in fact, I can guarantee you're delivering a higher quality of writing than he would get doing it himself. And number three, you're taking this burden off of him of having to do his writing. People never think of this, but if you have a task in your business that you really don't like to do, having someone help you do it where you can trust them and they will take it over is a huge value. So you're delivering value in 3 different ways for this person, and you're earning that $50 an hour more than you can know. So at a basic level, that's what freelancing is. It's providing value for someone with a skill you have, and I would recommend a skill that you build off of existing strengths. It's really simple, and it doesn't take years and years to start delivering that skill. Now, it does take years and years of improving that skill to become one of the best, to become one of the people who can earn $150 or $200 an hour working from anywhere. But initially, to get started, you just have to be better than most people at that and be willing to work and sort out the client relation stuff, in terms of getting paid and setting up proposals and all that. And that's it. It's not that complicated. Now, the cool thing with freelancing is that you can start out this way and then you can build it into something more. So you can start out, say, just taking a strength you have, developing a skill around that, and then offering it as a basic service where you say, hey, I'll write for anyone. Like, I'm a hired gun, you need writing, I'll do writing. And you start out at a basic rate. Say you start out at $40 an hour, right? You start out that way, and what's really cool there is you're getting income right away. So you already have some freedom. If you want to travel or work from other places, you could do that. And you're earning a good income. I mean, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's a great starting place to be at. Now you can take that and start to complicate it, right? You want to start out really simple, but then you can look at ways to complicate it and take it to that next level. So you might start to notice when you work with your clients that, hey, they also have this problem, or 90% of what they want me to do revolves around this one area, and the rest of the work isn't really helping them that much. So let's focus in on this work and then double my rates and deliver really good value by just focusing on the stuff that's going to get them results. So there's lots of options where you can grow the freelancing career and take it to a place where you're delivering more and more value and you're being paid more and more for delivering that value. And of course, the more value you can deliver with your work, the more freedom you can have. Now, someone with a freelancing business who is required to be by their clients, they have to go into the office, they have to keep a fixed schedule because the clients say, we want to be able to get hold of you. That's a person, I can almost guarantee you, who is not delivering exceptional value. The reason that they need to be there, they need to go into the office, they need to be on the phone all the time, be responding to emails, is because they don't give enough value to have power in that relationship. They're replaceable. And so the client at any time can say, hey, if you won't do it, we'll hire someone else with your exact same skill set. You're not delivering anything exceptional to us. Now, as you move towards delivering exceptional value, that's when you can develop more and more freedom, because there may only be you or a handful of yous who can do what you do with your style and with your personality and everything else, right? Which gives you a unique advantage because your clients can't replace you. And because you're delivering value, they don't care where you live. They don't care if you come to every teleconference meeting or show up to everything, because you're delivering them huge amounts of value. And that's what really separates the freelancers who are free in a way, like they work for themselves and they can technically travel, and the freelancers who are really free and can set their own schedules and set their own locations and how they work with clients and really determine those relationships, is because they're delivering a high amount of value. And they have a very specific understanding of their clients' needs and how to give them value. And with that, they gain a lot of power in that relationship. And so they can call the shots in how it works.